All right, all right, all right. Good morning to the entire No Limit team, to the entire Powerhouse team, to the entire Dreammakers team on this incredible Friday. I don't know if maybe your kids are graduating today or maybe they're graduating next Friday, but I know my kids are graduating from 6th grade today, as well as Chloe graduating from 3rd grade. I cannot believe it. I'm super duper excited about it. And I'm even more excited about the fact that we've got summer together. We've got plans. We've got strategies in place. We've got goals that the kids want to accomplish. And I'm just so grateful for the NASB platform because of all the things, all the sacrifices, all the struggles, all the tests, all the trials that you have to go through as an agent, that I had to go through as an agent many years ago to get to this moment, to be able to live, to have financial freedom, to have choices, to be able to live the dream, to be able to not just sell the dream, I guess you could say, like Chad Milner says, but to be able to sell the reality and to live that reality. That's what you all have at your fingertips. But none of that is gonna be possible if you do not grasp what me and Jerry McCauley are going to be teaching you today. So I hope that you have the opportunity, that you have, whether your iPad, if you're in your car, be careful, please drive safe, and make sure that you can take notes somewhere, right? I don't care if it's on a napkin, but be able to take notes, because what I want to teach you, what Jerry wants to teach you, what some of the elite top agents from last week want to teach you, is the ability to actually create placement and persistency inside your business. Because this one thing, if you will master this one thing, guess what? You too, soon enough, whether it's short-term, long-term, you can have the financial freedom. You can have the choices if you will grasp this one word that we want to teach you today. Are you ready for this? It's going to be amazing. Now, we've all heard about the fact that, hey, look, if we increase our input, we get to what? We increase our output. But what if the input sucks? I mean, if you really think about it, like, what if the input that you're putting in, you're doing the work, you're doing the presentations, you're getting into the homes, but maybe you are just not closing effectively. Maybe you are just not getting the results that you want. Maybe you're the agent that keeps getting high chargebacks, right? Maybe your business isn't sticking short-term, long-term, and you're wondering to yourself, what is it? Surely it must be the leads. Surely it must be the leadership. Surely it must be NASB, must be the city, must be the weather, must be every darn other thing that you want to blame it on versus what? This one thing. This one thing that, in my opinion, is an art. It's a skill set. It's a mastery. Just like, in my opinion, you wouldn't be with the spouse that you're with if it wasn't for this one thing. And you're thinking to yourself, what is it? Right? Well, you ready for this? It's this one word called value. 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 You see, I wouldn't be with Dustin if it wasn't for the value that he brings to me and the relationship that I have with him. Make sense? Okay. Matter of fact, you wouldn't have friends if it wasn't for the value that they bring to your life. What is another word for value? Benefit, maybe? Right? It's not features. It's not because Dustin is the most good-lookingest rascal on the entire planet, right? No, it's the value. But when you think of value, maybe you think of benefit. But really what value really is, when it really boils down to it, is how you make them feel. How do you make that person feel? Do they feel good when they're around you? You know, in other words, like, do you feel comfortable around that person? Can you trust that person? You know, the credibility that they have. Can I really count on that person? Can I rely on that person? Right? Even when it comes to your favorite restaurant. Well, guess what? Think about it like this when it comes to value. Here's a really great analogy. You could have the best darn Roost Chris steakhouse steak, sizzling hot and amazing. But you and I can both agree that if that server sucks, if that server doesn't bring the value to the table that makes you feel like you are eating the most incredible steak, it's going to make you have the most incredible evening. It's going to make you have this a meeting, maybe potentially, or this date even better. Because why? You're eating this steak. It's the same thing with Jordan Belfort, right? Wolf on Wall Street. He'll sit there and tell people, sell me this pen. Sell me this pen. And maybe to the untrained eye, you might say, well, it's a great discount. It's beautiful. It's heavy weighted. And, yeah, I know it's $100, but maybe to the other person that you're trying to help understand the value of this pen, you keep trying to sell the features of the pen versus what? Selling the benefit of the pen. What is this pen going to do for my life? What is this pen going to make me feel like when I'm physically with a senior and I'm taking care of their final expenses? When was the last time I held a pen that really made a difference, right? And you're like, Ashley, it's just a pen, right? But guys, this is the whole point of being able to have the value, because when value exceeds price, people buy. When value exceeds price, people buy. So if your input sucks, if you are doing crappy presentations out there, you are having crappy results. Well, I guess the answer is we got to do more presentations. We got to up our count of presentations. No, if you have an increase of crappy presentations, you're just getting more crappy results. So how can we really establish the tangibles of what value is? And today we want to take you and have you understand the value tangibles, if you want to call it, the value-based sales approach, if you want to call it that. But I want to give you tangibles. I want to be able to give you this ammunition today that you can physically start taking into your presentations today. That's the goal that me and Jerry want to be able to impart to you, as well as the top agents from last week. So let's go ahead and start with this. No joke, I actually physically talked to Lance last night. I texted him and I said, hey, Lance, I was like, you got a hot minute, right? Just kind of want to get your brain a little bit. And then you talk about bright-eyed and bushy at 11 o'clock at night. I was like, hi, Lance, I'm so sorry to call you. And he was like, hey, Ashley. And I'm like, it's like, I couldn't even get him off the phone because I felt so bad. I was like, okay, well, I'll let you go. He's like, hey, let's keep talking. And so we talked for 30 minutes. That's our CEO. What value he brings to this table, the benefit of having somebody that genuinely cares, that's willing to take a phone call completely after hours. So when it comes to persistency and placement, why does value have anything to do with placement and persistency? All right, let's break this down a little bit. Ready for this? We don't get paid on what we write. We don't get paid on what we write. We get paid on what we place, but we also get paid on what sticks. We get paid on what sticks. It's not about the application that we're writing today. That means nothing. It's about what we place and then what sticks long-term. And I want you to remember this, I guess you could say like the length of time, 18 months, 18 months. I need that to be ingrained in your mind, just like the word value. Why? Because 18 months is the stickability that you want in an actual policy, that once it's placed, you want that rascal to stay on the books for at least 18 months. Why? Because that's when the insurance company, ready for this? They don't count anything after 18 months. And you're like, well, is that like a secret? No, they don't make any money. They break even right at that 18-month mark. That's why they could care the freak less if that senior stays on after 18 months. Now, genuinely, we clearly want our seniors to stay on the books, to have a phenomenal, beautiful policy forever. But if you're that agent that is churning their business, I hope to God that's not you, that once you maybe have it in your Rolodex that after 9 months, I'm going to go ahead and replace their business so I can get a new commission. Yep, no wonder you're failing at life, and no wonder you're failing at business. Just because you're out of the chargeback zone does not mean anything, because what it really is doing is it's affecting your persistency. So Ashley, what's the persistency that we really need to have? The persistency that you need to have is over 75%. The persistency that you need to have is 75%. But then also when it comes to your placement, you might be saying, Ashley, what's placement? What's persistency? Okay, ready for this? Placement means this. You write an application today. It gets denied today. Guess what goes against your placement? That policy, that application that you just wrote, right? And you're like, wait a minute, but it didn't even go in force. It didn't even get placed, Ashley. Yeah, but guess what? Because it didn't place, it's going against what they call acquisition costs at the actual carrier's underwriting offices because they have to pay for MIB records. They have to pay for underwriters. They've got to pay for the prescription lookups. All that costs money. So if you're that punk agent that has no clue what this senior should be matched with a valuable product, guess what? And then bam, they get denied. You're like, oh, that's weird. Maybe I just didn't ask the right questions when it came to their prescriptions. Maybe I didn't ask, why are you taking this prescription again, Miss Johnson? Maybe you just didn't take that next actual minute to look it up and say, oh, that's why you take Eliquis for atrial fibrillation. That's why you take that Brio inhaler for COPD. No way. And then you're trying to get them with the rural neighbors. What's wrong with you? And then bam, you'll wonder why rural neighbors terminated you because your 4 cases all got denied back to back. And you're like, I don't understand why they terminated me. And you're thinking to yourself, thank you. I'm just going to mute you there, Miss Dana there. Okay. So think about it like this, guys. Placement is the moment you write the application, and if it doesn't place or it does place, guess what? It matters with your placement. Now, what about persistency? Persistency goes with 3 months, 6 to 9 months. So either or, 6 to 9 months, 13 months, 18 months. So when it comes to persistency, okay, you want that rascal to go all the way out to 18 months. Why? Because it helps with your persistency. So you do not ever want to go below 65%. The moment you go below 65%, you are now a red flag with that carrier. And you're like, well, what carriers don't like it when you go under 65%? Well, it doesn't matter. It's literally all carriers that do not like you going under 65%. Most carriers will terminate you if you go below 50%. Placement and persistency. Placement and persistency. Matter of fact, they will actually look at your business and they'll study your business. This is what people get paid to do a lot of times when it comes to their home office over there with Mutual of Omaha. And they've got these folks sitting at a desk and they're like, man, this agent has a pattern where, no joke, all their business falls off and gets replaced at the 9-month mark. What does that mean? That person, that agent is churning their business, right? And Lance, he sees it all. He knows everybody's persistency, right? So when it comes to the value and placement and persistency, why does it matter? It matters because we don't want to guess when it comes to what carrier we can match this wonderful senior that we're with, because if we don't match them with the right carrier, how is that value when it comes to our senior? Bam, denied, denied, denied. Because you didn't actually do your underwriting and you didn't give them the value that they needed to what? Feel like, all right, I got approved. Excellent. And then what are you doing on the back end also? So with that being said, folks, when it comes to benefits, when it comes to the value that we're physically giving these folks, make sure that you're not overselling in your presentation. Don't oversell. That's going to go against your persistency. It's going to go against, guess what? On the 3rd month, when that person says, gosh, I just cannot manage this premium, and then they cancel, right? That goes against your persistency. Another one is your business easily replaceable. So in other words, what that means is you really didn't give value inside your presentation because you're easily replaceable. You just kind of went in there like a wrecking ball and you're like, here we go. You boom, bada, bing, sold it. You walked out the door. You're like, high five. And then I don't even remember that person's name. You didn't sell it. You didn't actually save them on your cell phone. You didn't give them a hug. You didn't call them and said, congratulations on approval. You didn't write them a thank you card, right? You didn't see them on the policy delivery 2 weeks from now. You didn't answer your phone when they called you. What? Oh my gosh. All these things that add up to the value that you bring as an agent, right? And then also, is your business replaceable? Now, what that means is maybe you just didn't put them in a phenomenal plan. Maybe you put them in a plan that, quite honestly, is like $15 more than really the average policy out there. And you're like, oh, it's because I'm going to get better commission. And then, bam, here comes an agent right behind you. Maybe they're from another company and they're like, hey, let me give you more value. And maybe that agent was invaluable. That experience was invaluable. So what I want to do, I want to bring on Jerry. Okay. And I want you, Jerry, and I know we've got 3 other agents that we're going to be talking to today, but just kind of give us some tangibles about how we can pour more value into our presentations so that we can get over that 75% placement and persistency ratios so that we really can feel like we are making a difference when it comes to these seniors. Jerry, do I have you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I got you.
Okay, cool. Thank you, Ashley. The Comet. I too have a grandchild that went through elementary school graduation in the last couple of days. So very special. Glad you're seeing that through yourself. So hey, I'm seeing on the text thread and on the chat that there's a few people that have had audio issues. I might invite the first 5 people in the chat to say that they can actually hear us, because all I've seen is that we can't be heard.
I can hear you.
One, that's one.
Everybody
I can hear you.
Excellent. Thanks, y'all.
All right. Well, in the theme of providing exceptional tangible value, in the house, after you've been in the house, before I start getting into the top 10, what I do to provide exceptional value when I'm in the house is to make them feel smart. You already have life insurance. That's so great. I congratulate you. I commend you for having taken care of your family's future. You've had it for 10 years. Wow, you've been paying on this whole time. That's just awesome. You have Primerica. They're a really great company. We work with them. Here's what many people don't know about Primerica, and I've been doing this a long time. I have not been doing this a long time, but I've been doing this a long time, and here's what many people don't know about them. So I kind of learned this from my wife, who, is over the years has worked with doctors and has made it a point to make them feel really smart in the room, whether or not she thought so. So I kind of picked up on that and have done that in the house. After leaving the house, I have a magnet with my business card on it that I put on everybody's refrigerator. I tell people to direct their family members to it. And I tell people that I'm always reachable. I return all phone calls the same day. And that includes weekends and holidays. Ms. Johnson, if you wait until Monday to call me on something that you needed over the weekend, I'm gonna help you. But first I'm gonna ask you, why did you wait? Because I can plan to help them earlier versus later in the week. I just make it a point to say, hey, I'm always reachable. You're not bothering me. And people appreciate that. And I've gotten a lot of loyalty because of that. And then at the end, I'll say, okay, Ms. Johnson, if you got any questions about your policy with Mutual of Omaha or Foresters or whoever, you call Mutual of Omaha, right? And she'll be like, yeah. I'll look at her. She goes, oh, no, I call you. And that's when they get it. But getting into the top 10 here, and I only know 2 people's nicknames here, so y'all bear with me here. But going through the top 10 here, starting off with 6,900, we got Michael Maverick Morrissey. With 7,000, we got Jake Tadlock the Warlock. Next, also with 7,000, we got Laura Boynton or Laura Croft. Next, with over 8,000, with 8,200, we got Brittany Payton. She's like a stealth fighter, if you will. She is loaded up with weapons, but you just don't see her coming. Then we got Kathleen Ibis. KI is always delivering a KO when it comes to the premium. She had 8,300. And then with 8,600 is Chris Hulk Houghton. I love that one. Then myself with 10,800, which is $100 over my previous record. Then with 10,900, we got Tyler Eaton, Pac-Man himself, eating up the premium. Then with 12,000, wow, 12,000, we got James Ard Rock, always rocking out the premium there. And then with 12,200, of course, we got the Howitzer, Jim Harrell. But what I'd like to do is bring on 3 people. And I got 2 questions for you guys. How long have you been with us? And what is it that you do to provide tangible, exceptional value in the house, after the house, or maybe before. But why don't we bring on Tyler Eaton, Pac-Man? Come on if you can, Tyler.
Hey, you got me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Awesome.
Very
Great.
good.
You know, thinking about that pen, Ashley, obviously that pen has made a lot of money from just the top, what is it, top 10 or 15 there. So that's the value of the pen. But the big thing for us for value is going to be those value sheets. I love to bring out those value sheets. I do it before I show price just about every time now. I forgot who brought it up first. But because of that value sheet, it sounds like, and it appears like you have so much more value than you may even think in your head when you first start here. So it allows you to see those riders and those different things that really provide that extra value. That's going to be like, well, you know, I could have gotten Colonial Penn, but I got these other riders and things like that. Those add those values. And then on top of that, the big things that I'm going to do for like kind of closing statements for people or like one-liners are going to be the thing like, hey, Miss Johnson, if something happened to you tomorrow, would that cause a financial burden on your family? I know Bobby was big on saying that. Oftentimes they're going to say yes. If they don't say yes to it, you know, you can always reiterate, they might not know how much it's going to really cost for one of those burials. That's why we have that sheet that shows, hopefully you've shown that as well, to go through and kind of see like, hey, that's going to cost you in the future like 20 grand. That's not going to be any sort of financial burden there. And then if they're going to probably say yes to that and then say, follow that up with, hey, Miss Johnson, if we were able to find something that was manageable for you financially while still taking care of those final expenses or those costs there, you'd want to at least see if you could get approved, right? And just use that to go through and make it a seamless kind of transition into showing that price, going through and seeing if they can get approved there.
That's great. Everybody hear that? The value sheets. Don't take any shortcuts. You want to show them those value sheets. I do the same thing, Tyler. And sometimes, you know, you have to kind of get them thinking about their family members, about how this affects them, which is the whole point of them taking out the policy. So excellent job there. Next, let's go over to Laura Croft, Laura Boynton. Have I got you? Laura, you might be on mute. I'm gonna give you a few seconds to unmute. And if not, I got
There we are. I'm here.
all
Sorry.
right. Hey, Laura.
Hey, how are y'all? Good morning.
Great. Laura, how long you been with us, and what is it that you do to provide tangible, exceptional value, you know, in the house, after the house, before the house?
So I've been here, July will be a year. So right at I'm almost I'm almost out of the rookie stage. Yay.
Okay, all right.
I agree with Tyler. I use my value sheets just like he said. That's very, very important. I do the in and ups. That shows a lot of you know, that shows the accountability with my managers and all to help make that sale, to make sure that everybody is on the same page, and they really help me with that. And then I also I use words that are more manageable words and non-threatening words, like let's bundle this, let's replace this. Let's upgrade this over canceling and replace. And so that's some things that I do.
Excellent. Yeah. And there's there we go again with the value sheets. Yep, they're that important. And as far as in and ups go, there's nothing like being in an in and up and having your in and up speaking to the customer and watching the customer nod, you know, like, yeah, you know, going along with what they're saying. And you're kind of like nodding, yeah, I'm going to be getting a sale here because of the help of my in and up. It's
Right.
a great thing. So thank you very much for that, Laura. All right, next up we got Chris Holkhoughton. What you got?
You got me, man?
Yeah.
Hey, so yeah, I've been here almost, you know, a little over a year and a half. When it comes to tangible items, I know everyone likes the value sheets, so I do the value sheets. But something else that I do is I call all the carriers and I get all their sales and marketing brochures and like their folders, sometimes pens. I get them to send me the buyer's guide so I don't have to print them all out myself. So I really lean on the carriers to give me all these tangible items that are going to represent you, but also give you more credibility because it has the logo of the company they have. it's really just going to increase, I guess, how credible you are with them. You're not just going to leave one black and white printed paper. So along with doing that, I always take the picture that I have, when we put it in the WhatsApp, I save it in their phone. I save my name and number in their phone. And then on their calendar on their phone, I'll put when their due date is. And on the due date, I'll put a message like, hey, leave it in for 5 to 6 days, because that'll take that long for it to clear your account. Also, along with putting like a magnet on the refrigerator, or one thing that I do that I don't know is great or not, but I tell them the day they were born. So when you look at their calendar, and they do the day, month, or the month, the day, and the year, like, oh, Ms. Johnson, you're born April 16th, 1959. That was a Wednesday. And like, for some reason, they'll always remember that. So it's not really tangible, but it's something that they always remember that I tell them.
That's awesome. Yeah, I love that's a neat thing to keep them in your head, because when you're showing them something like their calendar date that they were actually born, like that's such a unique angle to set you apart from other people. It takes a lot of thought to put into that. So I love that. Great tips from everybody. Ashley, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off back to you. I hope everybody was okay with the nicknames. I only knew 2 of them. I just kind of winged it on that. So back to you, Ashley.
Phenomenal job, Jerry. We just need to get Craig Harvey on here, so then that way he can get everybody nicknames. Okay. Phenomenal job, Laura, Chris, and Tyler. And great job. Congratulations to all those top tenors from last week. Here's just a couple more nuggets when it comes to the value, folks, is you want to focus on teaching versus selling. You want to focus on teaching versus selling. All of you right now, when you got started with NASB, every single one of you said, when we asked you, why do you want to be an agent with NASB? You said these words, because I want to help people, because I want to make a difference in somebody else's life. My question to you is, what value are you creating in your senior's life to make a difference, right? Because that matters to our seniors. What value are you bringing to them? And is your senior making a worthwhile investment with you? Let me repeat that. Is your senior making a worthwhile investment with you? Is it the right thing? Is it the best thing, right? Would you offer that to your own parents? So what do they stand to gain by getting their life insurance through you? Is it peace of mind? Is it security? These are the benefits. This is what Tyler was talking about. If you do not have life insurance, if you do not have your cremation, you do not have your burial taken care of, Miss Johnson, will this create a financial burden on your loved ones, on Mr. Jack, your spouse? Will that create a financial burden? Yes or no? And guess what? Yes. Ready for this? So many people don't follow up with this next one. Why? You got to ask them why. Because when you ask them why, they're literally selling themselves to you, saying, this is why I need this for my family. Some of you guys are missing out on that why, which is an open-ended question. Miss Johnson, why is it important to you to have this secured today? Why? Because it's going to give me peace of mind. I'm going to be able to sleep at night, that I know that my boys don't have to have a GoFundMe page, that I could have stability, that my funeral is going to be paid for, right? So that my boys or my kids, they can grieve, right? Another thing is this, please write this down. Until a need is recognized, it simply doesn't matter how great you are or how great the product is or how great the service is. Until a need is recognized, it simply doesn't matter, right? So what's our job as a insurance broker, producer, leader is, can we establish a need early on? This is why we connect. Maybe you're rushing through the step 1 connect phase. Maybe you're forgetting to physically show them your state license for credibility. Maybe you're forgetting to show them your family. If you don't have kids, if you're not married, hey, show them where you've been, right? Show them this incredible company. Let me show you who I was just with yesterday, the seniors. Oh my gosh, this is Miss Johnson. This is Frank, her husband. Let me show you her dog. Oh, we just had the best of time yesterday, right? So until a need is recognized, doesn't matter your product. It doesn't matter how amazing you are. Doesn't matter your charisma. What matters is this. You got to establish a need because that connects the value. Value precedes influence. You cannot influence another person's life in friendship, in love, until what? The value comes first, right? The value's got to come first. And then this one, master the art of small talk. What? Are you kidding me? What does that mean? I don't care if you're an introvert, extrovert. You've got to master the skill set, the tools necessary to create small talk. Why? Because if you don't, you're going to make your senior feel uncomfortable. And remember, if they're uncomfortable, they're not going to like you, which means that they want you out of the house. So that does not establish value whatsoever. So aim to understand your senior. Aim to understand, man, those open-ended questions. Tell me about yourself, Miss Johnson. How long have you lived here in Wilmington, North Carolina? How many children? How many grandchildren? Tell me about your work life. Tell me how long you've been retired. Tell me some words of wisdom about Holy Cracker Jacks. You've been married to Jack for 35 years. That's amazing. What does it take? Come on, tell me the secret. Tell me the secret. Open-ended questions, right? Because what it does is it forms a connection. All right. So speak as if you're talking to a friend, that warmth, that welcomeness versus being so, hi, Miss Johnson. My name is Ashley Kali, and I am a benefits coordinator with North American Senior Benefits. And they're like, what is this? Right? But can you be warm? Can you be friendly? Can you be inviting and welcoming? Oh, is this your dog? What's his name? His name's Charlie Bear. Oh, I got a nice little toy poodle myself. Oh, that's so great. I love your home. This is wonderful. Okay. Can you just act like they're your buddy? Right. So folks, I hope that you physically got a lot of tangibles out of today. Also, I know, and me and Greg were trying to do this earlier. I was trying to share my screen with you because I wanted to show you the new presentation, the upgraded presentation with NASB. But don't worry, what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a very short video on how to physically master that NASB upgraded presentation. Hopefully all of you will get the trifold from NASBinc.com. It's awesome. It's amazing. Download and import that upgraded presentation to your files so that you can show the seniors because it's absolutely amazing. Folks, make it a great day. Thank you to all that spoke. Thank you, Jerry. Let's make it a great day and let's go bring some value to our seniors. Let's go.